based on the custom spawns on the outside of this.
Welcome to the October video. I'm watching Lee and it's the 24th. I'm a little bit behind. Well, I mean, Bird is the 24th, so I'm right on schedule, but I like to work one day ahead, so there's no pressure of what I draw today has to be up to date. I recorded some here and there of painting or sketching, and it's just a little video of that. And I also thought I could talk a bit about how this year was, because every year I feel like I learn things. And for those who don't know, Peachtober and Inktober are a drawing challenge where every day for October there's a prompt. And Fairly Peach Sean, she makes her own prompt list. Every day you make an ink painting, so there are 31 ink paintings. Now, honestly, this is my third year. Last week is the hardest. It's the 24th today, and I am not feeling ink. But it's okay. I think I've got a nice idea what I want to do today, which helps. And I'm making bagels because it's also Sunday. Yeah, I hope you enjoy, and I'll probably voice over this.
I kept switching the colors when I was drawing it. I don't know, man. Same day. That's tingle. They don't necessarily go together, but they are both. I would probably make it more functional in the future. I might. Ooh, I'm a klutz. Sorted all the postcards, and this is just a quick clip. It's March 10th. Grace is working.
Alright, another day. Sorry, I'm trying to push you as far as I can. I am working on water. I first painted this, which wasn't it. So I'm now working on this, which is a ship. This was a sketch. I actually went down for a coffee and I asked Lee to look. I have no ideas what I'm gonna do, and I think he mentioned a ship. So this is the third wash now. I'm gonna erase the pencil lines now because all the shapes are down. I also see now in the camera that there are some mistakes, but it's okay. It's okay. We'll see how it goes. I like the sketch so far. We'll see if I'm gonna like the painting. And yeah, it is Monday, 25th, and we're almost done.
videos. They do food media. Yeah, BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed.
BuzzFeed. That's our new clothing line. Check it out. Check us out at BuzzFeed at sketchbook.com. Come on. When I wasn't sleeping.
Wow, they just brag.
And now my room is like a lunch.
What? You just go. It was just an overall experience, and I liked the way it turned out. So win-win-win-win.
She didn't answer my question. When's the last time you could
But everyone's like, all I do is eat tacos, watch movies, and laugh at the office.
That's really not what people say.
What do you mean? Why do millennials act like it's so hard?
If they're bigger things and stuff. Pretty far. Give me an accent. Jesus. Are you kidding me? Is that the price of the free starter motor?
Do we need it?
It's the one that goes. It's the one that goes when we start and you.
Oh.
It's that one. Look at this cock. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
What is that? And you know what the funny thing is? It's fucking 50% discount. You save $235. It cost $465 brand new.
Oh, maybe the isn't so bad.
Like also means if you too much you won't. And this, you know what this is. You know what that is?
Yeah.
It's the window.
Well, I guess the window stays closed.
So ek het die exportkode gevind. Hulle het vir my gestuur.
Absolute garbage. These I can feel the pain I was experiencing. Do you ever look back in your sketchbook and you remember how you felt, or do you ever feel like you can relive how you were feeling?
Hi, welcome to the sketchbook tour of this video. I finally found a setup. You don't want to know where you're lying. Okay, you're lying on a curtain rail, on a stack of books, on my water jug, over the balcony of the stairs. But it's working. I'll show you a little video of it, because I'm quite impressed with myself. It is October 30th, which means that tomorrow Peachtober is done. I posted mine, which is orange today, this morning already. And end of this video, I really wanted to show you the sketchbook of this year with all the final pieces and just flip them together and, you know, just talk about this year. There's another sketchbook, which is this one, this has all my rough ideas in it, but this is gonna be for my patrons as a secret sketchbook. Also because it's quite rough and messy and yeah. This one's gonna be for you. Most pieces you know, but there are some pieces in here that I usually paint 2 or 3 ideas, so I don't think you've seen them all. First off, this is a Moleskine A5. I think it's a 300 gram paper. I had problem finding paper here in Stockholm. That's why I use a sketchbook, because I usually like to use loose piece of papers and not have them stuck in a book. But yeah. Starting, some of them I made on ripped pieces of paper, so those are these. Let's see, it's 13, this was Treasure, and 14 was Scout. So they are on these pieces, just stuck in here, and this was one of the attempts for Water, which didn't make it, but I still quite like it, and now it's a little... Now it's a little brush. The beginning pages are old sketches, patron sketches, so I'll flip through those until we start. Okay, so not quite chronologically. This is day 30 that I finished today. I ended up going with this one. First I had this one, but it's felt a little unfinished. And this wasn't a first idea. I really wanted to play with the gradient difference of the ghost and something behind him, and this is one of my favorites end of this month. This one you're only gonna see tomorrow, but I think this video is only gonna go up the 31st. So this is Cat. It's a bit wobbly and not quite anatomically correct, but I actually think that oh, I think you can hear the church bells. I think that's actually a big part of this year, where I try to work more with texture and shape instead of line work. And I noticed that I'm moving more to an abstract side of, you know, exploring my style, and that I'm enjoying that much more. And I can draw a realistic cat, I can draw a stylized cat in a sort of sweet way, but it didn't resonate with me anymore, and this does. You will see throughout this book as well, more so the other sketchbook that I'll post on Patreon, that I'm trying to search for that I start out with what I know, that, you know, that sweet style of something a little stylized, but also sort of realistic. But like I said, it doesn't resonate with me. Another little note, you will see that I don't use my sketchbook to the full potential much. That is because you can see that the sketchbook isn't necessarily great for a very wet medium, so I only use either 1, max 2 or 3 layers of ink. And if I paint on this side, it's gonna wrinkle the illustration itself, and it becomes really hard to take a picture of it. So further in the book, you'll see that on the left side I will do a sketch, and on the right side I will do the painting. 29, Beetle was quite fun to play. Again, texture, and it's a combination of ink and pencil, because the pencil just creates that dark, bold, thin line. This was number 1, the first one. I was really happy with this. This was Tulip. Number 2, very simple. I don't know if you remember, but my 3 aims this year for Peachtober were to keep it simple, explore my style, and enjoy what I'm doing without expectation. I think in the beginning I was a little bit better at that, because as I move on in challenges like this, I noticed that this is going to be a long video if I keep talking like this. Throughout challenges like this, I noticed that with every painting, I move my own bar a little higher every time. So near the end, I really struggled with keeping it simple and painting without expectation. And I think I was still doing that well here. This is a very messy page. Nothing of this came anywhere. I hate pages like this in my book, but it's okay. Number 4, hands. I had an idea for some gloves, but I went with a hand puppet, and I thought of Pinocchio, like the wooden texture. I wanted to try the wooden texture with the ink and pencil, and this is another one of my favorites. This is one you never saw because the 8th and 9th we went camping. I think even the 7th. Yeah, maybe the 5, 6, 7 we went camping. I did paint them, but they're on this piece of paper. This was for a crown. It's quite unfinished and I would do it again, but then, you know, I just left it. It's, in the end, I also remind myself that these challenges are for myself to paint, and of course it's enjoyable to share, but I think it's always important to remember that you make art for yourself and not to be validated. So I enjoyed doing this, and it had to be seen. Number 10, frog, another one of my favorites just because of the shape and texture. It's quite simple, but it's exactly what I was searching for with my artistic voice, if you call that. 11 was gold. I started out with gold rocks, but the reason I don't use a lot of ink is because I am very, very impatient to wait for it to dry. And you can see here that I was smudging, and I quickly sketched another idea, which I liked a lot more, and that ended up being this one. This was the first idea for treasure, and it ended up being the flag. I was not feeling it today. I just put trees down and tried to fill it up, but yeah. This was for water, which is actually here as well, the sketch, and then the final painting here, and there's one here. It was a bit of a mess. I couldn't quite decide, but I do like how this turned out. I put the contrast a little higher with editing, because I edit before I post them. I edit the picture on my phone quickly, and, you know, put the saturation or warmed up, the exposure, just make sure that the paper is flat. I quite like this one. I like how I did the reflection. Yeah, I think you can see a progress in painting with ink. I like to see that every October. This was Summit. Also, not much to say about it. I had more ideas, but I wasn't feeling it much today, so I ended up with this one. This is a page for, this was jar 17. I started with art supplies, but I overworked it and I messed it up. And like I said, I want to move away from working with lines as outlines, if that makes sense. Like, I use lines here as well, but it's not as an outline. And I did that here, and yeah, so I ended up with a strawberry jar and some sketches for 18, which was match. I went with some lanterns because Tito York Bota comes in. So day 18, I did some lanterns. So these are some sketches and a mouse with a match and a little candle on a dinner table. I did paint one of the lanterns, but I ended up going with the sketch because I liked it a little more. This was also from Match. This is actually a Patreon video where I drew these sketches in a Draw With Me video, and this was the final painting. It's not an idea I eventually went with, but I do still quite like it. Another one of my favorites, 19 uniform, a King's baseball mouse. This was a One Go Wonder where I didn't sketch, I just put the ink down, and it turned out, I'm very proud of the shading, because I shy away from shading with ink because there's no fixing your mistake with the use, but I'm proud of how I did this one. So I'm very, very happy with this one. Another bit of a messy page for sun. I didn't really have an idea. I went with an egg. It was fine. The flowers didn't work out. 20 sound. Just a trumpet. I enjoy the shape and the movement of the circles of the trumpet. This is an idea that never made it. This was 22 for heart. I had an idea for a mouse looking for biscuits in his heart pattern pajama, and I tried them twice, but neither of them really got, like, yeah, I didn't feel them, so I didn't go with them. I think this was another idea for sun. Like I said, it's not quite chronologically, sometimes you just get a page that's empty. And 22, this one actually made it for heart. Big prowl, small heart. 23, harvest. Okay, we're getting to it a bit better now. I started out with strawberries again, but I overworked it a little and the composition felt off. So I went with a cherry with apples, and I really enjoyed the textures of it. Because although the shapes aren't well defined, you can sort of still see the shapes of the apples and the hues of the ink and the bleed, which, yeah, I really enjoyed. 24 was for Bird. These were sketches that you probably saw in the video, I think. I thought a pheasant. This I call my first pancake, because, God, poor Bird. Birdcage. I started painting this one first, but I overworked it and I smudged it, and yeah, I pushed it too far. So I tried it again more simple, but I noticed here with this one that I missed the bleed that I like so much. So I did again with bleed, and I do really enjoy this one. But I think I ended up going with, give me a second. Yes. And it's going up with this. This was a spare piece of paper that I still had, and I decided to use it for Bird. Yeah. This was an idea for water that I didn't end up using, but it was fun to paint. I really like the sketch. They're in the other sketchbooks. I've got 6 sketches of these that I really enjoyed, so I was having big hopes for this one, but it didn't translate well in ink, and I think I got impatient, so I hope my patrons will like the sketches. Sketch for water, another book. And this was a page I really enjoyed. I made these sketches very freely, looking at old pictures of milk carts and milkmen. 2 cars, one a bit of different shape, a bike and a horse cart. I started painting the car. And although I liked it, I didn't love it. Neither do I love the bottles, but a bit more. I think I like the simplicity more, and this felt incomplete, but the more I worked on it, the more I overworked it, so I didn't really know how to fix it, so I ended up going with this one, which was okay. I think I just really enjoyed the sketching part most. This was an idea for Spade, that I ended up posting a sketch of, I think, because you can see again, the paper doesn't take the water too well, and it got a bit ruined here. Yeah, just, I think near the end, this was the 27th of October, I think also near the end I got quite tired. I've definitely gotten over ink by now. I'm really glad that I finished today and tomorrow already. That's why I can film this video now, because some paintings, definitely in the beginning, they took me like 10 or 20 minutes, but near the end, I overthought them so much. Sometimes, like, I remember this one, I rendered for 2.5 hours, ending up not even choosing it. I got in my head so much near the end, like I said, because I think I pushed the bar for myself higher and higher near the end, because I can see my previous work, and my head says like, oh, it has to be better, more creative, more, you know, put together, and sometimes I just can't, and that's okay. And sometimes I had to take a step away and not post it. And then we're near the end. Yeah, this is the last page for 28, which was Submarine. There are 3 of them, and you can see I played with the hues and colors. It's like a black wheel white inside, white wheel black inside, and then also white wheel black inside, but he was first white inside, but I ended up doing black because I liked his shape a little more. I ended up going with these 2. I just posted them both because I quite like them and cleaned them up a bit. And yes, that is it. In this part I've got some leftover brown pieces of paper, but that is all. That's the Peachtober sketchbook of this year. I'm very happy with it. I'm glad I finished it again this year. I will say, I'm a little over ink right now, and I can't say yet that I'm looking forward to next year. I am craving to work with some color, just work with some pencil, and I think I'm also just craving to work without having to post it. Because most of my day went into the ink paintings, And like I say, they don't seem very complicated or time consuming. But if you see my other sketchbook, you will understand how much planning and ideas went into this, because I think a lot of people will still see this as, oh, it's just you put ink down and that's it. This very simple, easy, I can do this too. But actually, this is a lot harder for me than to make a stylized, cute looking bear. Yeah, to keep that abstract shape, but still keep the shape and tell a story with just texture. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I found a lot of great other artists, enjoyed seeing everyone's work. And yeah, also end of October usually marks almost the beginning of my birthday, 4th of November. So I'm excited for that. We're probably gonna go somewhere on adventure. And I hope you enjoy this video, and we'll talk soon, probably with the South End Diaries. If you joined Peachtober, by the way, tell me how you found it. If you feel like you improved. I always think I improve a little near the end with my abilities to sketch freely and paint with ink. And tell me how you found it. Okay, thank you for watching, and stay good. Bye.